Hey everybody, it's RiceyP coming back at you again today, and today is day 4 of the Legion release. And yesterday I did not do much of anything at all, and the reason for that is when I do my show for the podcast, I am trying something new to where I broke our news off from our discussion necessarily, because the discussion honestly is more interesting, and not everybody wants to hear the discussion. But it takes me a while to do the show notes and come up with things and get everything together if we have questions and things like that. So the only thing that I really got to do yesterday was to log into my order hall and send my little my pandas and my other monks on quests. I love that I can say my pandas. Anyway, because of that, I got a couple things done. Got some artifact power. Not anything huge though. As you can see, I'm at 315 of 1,000 down here for my artifact power, which is glorious. And I still have to get a ton more, and I've collected all the treasures, so now it kind of is a waiting game where you have run out of ways to quickly accrue this. Currently, as you all have seen before, I'm sitting at... wrong button. 12 power in my weapon here. And then I've actually unlocked the Mist of Shayloon, which is a huge unlock for Mistweavers in my opinion, personally. So I'm super stoked about that. I'm not sure really what path I'm going to go on next to get whatever we're doing. I'm guessing we're probably going to go Celestial Breath, because that's the closest thing that I am to, is Celestial Breath, instead of going all the way around here to get Blessing of Yu'lon. I really want this, though. The Light on Your Feet. Oh, no, it's not that one. Which one is it? There's one of these. The Enveloping Mist Healing. I may even go into this one next, honestly, because Enveloping Mist is your heal. That is like the heal you want to use all the time. So we'll see. This one's okay. Activating Thunder Focus T causes you to exhale a breath, healing up to 6 allies within 12 yards for 12 or 35k. And you should be using Thunder Focus T often, especially in PvP. I know in single combat I use it often. I'm very keen to it. But when I've gotten into the new 5-man dungeons, it's been a little weird, because I'm not used to being around 5 people trying to heal 5 people. And I need to get a little bit better at that, I think. So, today I just kind of wanted to do a little reflection for everybody. And the reflection that I wanted to do mostly revolves around the dungeons that I've been in and things like that. So, basic healer queue times. I can say they're not bad. Really, they're fantastic. When you start thinking about healer queue times, or DPS queue times, I've seen some shots on Twitter, people taking screenshots and things like that. 2 hours and 40 minutes for a queue. And that's the estimated time. That's not even the amount of time that they may sit in queue. That is the estimated time, which is phenomenally ridiculous. That tells me that there are not enough tanks and there are not enough healers that are queuing for these instances, especially when I get a 1 to 20 second queue time. Then, that kind of speaks for it right there. But because of that, it makes my day better, I guess. I mean, I can get into a dungeon and do it, get it done. The difficulty currently, it's not hard, really. It's not hard to keep people alive as a Mistweaver. I think they're in a very good place right now when it comes to healing. I was worried when they redid them that they broke the class and they were ruined, and it was an overreaction on my part. Mostly just because they weren't what they used to be, and I did not want to learn something new. I didn't want to kind of spread my wings and do that. But it's been a very eye-opening and a very humbling experience to see what they've done to Mistweavers. It hasn't ruined them, at least in PvE, from what I can see. The mana might be an issue eventually, because you're going to have to depend on people to do certain things in raids or dungeons to avoid certain things, because I guess we can talk about this now, because this is my next point that I want to talk about. The changes in the gameplay. Okay, so they've removed Spirit from the game. You can't get it on gear at all. You just have a baseline of mana regen. So if you open your character pane here, your mana regen amounts 22,800 every 5 seconds, and that's out of combat. That is not in combat. That changes when you're in combat, and it is less, obviously, I believe. Unless they change that too, and I'm not aware, which they may have. It may be just a solid 22,000 every 5 seconds. And my full mana is, 570k currently. So 22,000 is a drop in the bucket of 570k. And that probably does go up with level, and it probably will increase. I'm almost assured that it will, being that I'm only right now at level 104. So we've got that, and then also they removed our manatee. And when I say they removed it, it's not removed from the game, but they removed it from the capacity that it used to be. It used to be you gain charges when you use chi to manatee, and then you could drink your manatee to be able to replenish your mana. It was a give and take kind of thing. Well, monks no longer have chi. Well, at least you have Brewmaster and you have Mistweaver who no longer use chi. The actual Windwalker monks still use chi. But we have this little talent right here. It's a 1.5 minute cooldown. It reduces the mana cost of your spells for 50% for 10 seconds. By 50% for 10 seconds. I honestly think the Thunder Focus Tea, the Focus Thunder, is a better choice because you can get 2 spells with it as well, of how it empowers. And I've talked about this last couple days. I've done the videos as well. So I don't see Manatee as something that I would ever choose, honestly. Maybe for PvE content, I don't know, I haven't healed it yet, except for dungeons. This may be something that's required to cut the spells, the cost of your spells in half, every minute and a half for 10 seconds. But you have to be throwing out some serious frickin' heals for 10 seconds worth of that. I mean, that's got to be a lot, because 10 seconds is not a lot of time to throw heals, really. The best thing you could probably spam in 10 seconds is going to be your Vivify. And your Vivify, if everybody remembers, here, let me close this. Your Vivify is the one that heals 3 targets, 25,000 mana. I mean, I regenerate 22 every 5 seconds, so I can't even regenerate that in 5 seconds. Which you think it's not that bad, but it really is a mana hog. I mean, when you start using it and casting it as quickly as you can on it's a 1.3 second cooldown with a 1.5 second global. So it makes it roughly a 3 seconds, like 2.8 seconds. And when you use 2 of those, you're using 50k mana in 5 seconds. So I'm using double the amount that I regen. Well, over double the amount that I regen. So I don't know. They've removed Manatee from the game in the facet that it used to be. That's my point here, is we no longer have that as a mana regen tool. We also have no spirit on gear, and that hurts a bit. I can say that because spirit was always the #1 thing for Mistweavers, because we needed the mana regen. I mean, with our throughput that we had, we used a lot of mana. We had chi to compensate for that. So with our usage of mana would gift us chi, which we then could use chi to use for certain things. You could use chi for uplift. You had to use chi for enveloping mist. Different things like that. So it was a nice balance of heals, and I liked the way it worked. But I'm beginning to like the way this works too. It's not horrible like I thought it was going to be. So here are some tips. These are the dungeons that I did. I did Eyes of Ashara. That instance was very interesting in itself. Lots of trash in that one. Darkheart Thicket. This one also had a lot of trash as well. I did this one last night. Yesterday at some point. I did it yesterday. But there's a lot of trash in this too. This is the one that's kind of touches on where the nightmare is in Val'Sharah. We did Neltharian's Lair, which was a really interesting, fun kind of a dungeon. It wasn't very hard at all. And then Halls of Valor. Halls of Valor wasn't terribly hard, but it's very vast, and you had to run to different places and all over the place. And people kind of left... they left me behind when I had to drink, which was... I shouldn't say surprising, really. They're not used to it. They're used to end game of Warlords when everybody is completely buffed up, not needing to drink and running from pool to pool to pool. So that's going to bring me to my next discussion here. If you're a tank or you're a DPS, there's some things that you need to do. Number one, a pet peeve of mine, you can say in game, but people aren't going to hear it in a fight.
I am tapped out. I have no mana. I am tapped out.
So if you see that, or you see
I have no mana.
that means that I cannot heal you. That's what that means. It means that I'm running low on mana and I need to sit down before your next pool. It has been a plague with tanks who are just singly focused on getting the dungeon done as quick as they possibly can. I'm sorry, if I don't have mana, I can't heal you or the people in the group. I had a group yesterday when we were in Darkheart Thicket who I typed just like I did now, and they ignored it. They then went to make another pool. They wiped. They killed... There were 4 things up. They killed 2 of the 4 things. I ended up soloing one of them while they were running back. And I was fine on health and mana because I'm able to heal myself and, solo things like that. So please, 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 watch your healer's mana bar. If the healer's mana bar is halfway or less, encourage them to drink. Encourage them to sit down, because when you get into a fight, sometimes you don't know what all is going to occur in these fights. They're brand new. And sometimes people are pulling ads into these fights accidentally, or something happens. So, yeah, watch the health bar. Or the mana bar. Also, don't stand in the poop. This goes out to anybody who plays DPS. Yes, you want to friggin' tunnel vision the boss and get the boss down. Yes, it's my job to heal you. But it is not my job to babysit you to the point of overtelling you to not stand in shit you're not supposed to be standing in. If there is something on the ground below you and you see negative health ticks above your head, that means you need to move. Because that doesn't mean I'm going to stand there and heal you through it. Granted, the tanks that I've had have been fairly easy to heal. Demon Hunter, surprisingly so. Demon Hunter's been tearing it up. And then we have, I've ran with a couple warriors, which were not bad to heal. I've ran with a DK that was fairly easy to heal. Most of them have good handle on aggro, targeting, and things like that. So that's not been a problem. But the biggest problem that I've had is people standing in shit. And it's very, very obvious. When we were in this thicket one, there's red shit on the ground that appears below you, and it's glowy and it's red, and it obviously looks no good. And people are just basking in it. And sometimes I understand if you're melee, and it puts it right underneath the boss in kind of a circle, and you can't escape the boss without hitting him. That's fine. I will heal you through it. Where I draw the line is, if you are ranged and you have something pop beneath your feet, even if you're in the middle of the cast, move out of the stuff, please. Please just move. It's not going to take but 2 seconds to move and you can get back to DPSing. I'm sorry that the mechanic of the boss forced you to have a lower DPS for 5 seconds. I apologize for that. That is not my problem. You need to know what your job is. Your job is to not stand in this shit. So, that being said, with tanks, also don't overpull. When you're pulling, don't pull more than one group if you don't know what your healer can do. I can usually pull things through, but it makes my mana pretty low. It definitely stresses my mana and my healing when I'm healing. I don't mind it as much as most people do because I have confidence in myself as a healer to be able to do that. Where I know certain people to sacrifice if that's the case, where if they're just getting low and they're standing in shit, sometimes you die. I'm sorry, but that's going to happen. It's your own fault. And then also watch aggro. This goes out to the DPS that are out there. I was in the same group that the DK was in the Dark Thicket. And there was a ranged shaman, an elemental shaman, pulling aggro randomly. He's attacking shit the tank's not attacking. And I cannot tell you how many times until I mentioned it to him, I'm like, are you pulling aggro? You know, what's going on? He must have been DPSing things the tank wasn't focused solely on. And his health bar literally every 25 seconds would dip from full where I healed him to about 10%. And I had to use Life Cocoon on him at one point. I should never have to use Life Cocoon on any kind of damage, on any kind of DPS class. Ever. You should know when to back off if your threat's a little too high. You should know not to attack things the tank's not attacking necessarily unless you have to. In that case, I'm going to have to heal you. It's just what it is. But it's just people playing sloppy. People playing without using rational thought. And it's early in the expansion. I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt because they're trying to learn their weapons, they're trying to relearn their class, they're trying to find out what they can do and push limits. That's fine. But this is just a friendly thing coming from a healer that's noticing all this stuff over and over and over again. So, please, 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 watch your aggro, don't stand in crap, don't overpool, and watch your healer's mana. And that's the most important one of all, is watch your healer's mana. Now, if you're a healer or you're DPS and you've got any of these old buffs while we're leveling still, use them. For instance, I've got all these feasts, plus I've got probably 200 more in my bank, and they're not going to be usable. I mean, they're pointless. They're going to give us a buff currently, which that's fine. Also, all the flasks that I have that I've saved up and accrued over warlords, because I'm a alchemist. So, being that I can make them, I make them a little bit more regularly. But yeah, just be on top of stuff here. Pay attention to what you're doing. It's not just go in, spank, and tank everything. You need to make sure that everybody's on the same page, that your DPS are going to be able to support you, and your healer's going to be able to support the DPS and the tank. It's a group. We're a group of people who need to come together to work to be able to do things. So, that's the best thing that I can really tell you. Today, I don't know what I'm going to do today, honestly. I'm just kind of to run around. I'm debating if I'm questing. For some reason, I'm having an aversion to questing. I don't want to go out and quest. I haven't really quested all that much, and I definitely don't want to go out and quest. And I think it's kind of the point that I'm not in the mood to read everything, and I'm afraid I'm going to miss something lore-wise. What I've heard from everybody who's questing currently, or who's gone through the content, said that in every zone something amazing happens, that there is some kind of an amazing event in every single zone. That's kind of mind-blowing, kind of fantastic, but I'm afraid that I'm not going to be in the mood to want to read all these quest texts right now. And I kind of don't want to quest. So I don't know. I don't know how to solve this problem that I have. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, that's such a problem to have, right? But I'm 104. I'd like to try to get to maybe 105, which is possible today. Possibly 106 too. Who knows? I don't know. But, so that's it. That's pretty much it. We had a new episode of Victor Sanctum come out yesterday. It's on iTunes and it's on Stitcher, as well as our website. You can see right here on the screen, victorsanctum.com. We also got a new blogger. We got Foxy Hippo RBGs. He is one of our new bloggers to post content on our site. So you can head over and watch him talk about all kinds of fun stuff every week, usually. He'll be making a blog post a week. It's more of a vlog. He's a vlogger on YouTube. So, I guess that's really it. That's kind of my rant, and it's finished, is just take care of your healers, people. We want to take care of you, but when you go off and you do stupid stuff and you overpool and you don't let us drink, it makes it really hard for me to not be agitated at you. Because you should know better by this point. Unless you're playing a Demon Hunter for the very first time, and you've never played WoW ever. That's the only excuse that you could have of not looking at somebody's mana bar in the left-hand side of the tank. I've tanked, and being that I heal, I do it. I make sure that my healer has mana. I stop and I wait for pulls. But there you go. So that's going to end it for today. I really, really hope that you guys have a great holiday weekend. It's Labor Day this weekend in the U.S. So it's Labor Day weekend. I'm going camping. I will not be back until Monday. So that's why the show went out early. Usually goes out on Fridays. And I hope you guys have a safe and fun Labor Day weekend. Here in Cincinnati, it's a huge thing. We do fireworks, a humongous firework display. I know some places do it as well. Yeah, great weather for camping. It's going to be in the 70s, which I'm totally stoked about. We're going to take our dogs with us, and we've got a trailer tent pop-up deal. Camper, I guess you'd call it. So yeah. So that's the end. If you guys have any questions, put them down in the comments. I'd be more than happy to try to answer any kind of questions that you do have. If you have questions for the show or you want to give the show a listen, as I mentioned, we're on iTunes, Stitcher, and our website. The questions can be sent to victorsanctum@gmail.com, or you can tweet questions to us at victorsanctum on Twitter. We have Reddit, that things are posted in the Reddit, as you can see here on the side. We've got a Twitter, a Facebook account, Google+, which Google+ I don't use that much. Not a lot of people do. YouTube, which you're watching me on right now, and Reddit. So, yeah, have a safe and fun holiday, everybody. And I guess I will catch you next time. And we'll find out what happens. I'll be gone all weekend, so my next video may not be until late on Monday or Tuesday. So have a great time. Enjoy yourselves, and make sure that you don't go out and do anything dumb.